Once upon a time, in a prosperous village, nestled between rolling hills and shimmering rivers, there lived a young man named Latif. He was wealthy, respected, and known for his generosity. Latif had inherited his fortune from his father, who had passed away when he was young, leaving him in the care of his loving mother. Latif's mother was a kind-hearted woman, known for her wisdom and the many good deeds she had done for the village. She raised Latif with care, teaching him the importance of humility, kindness, and respect for others. As Latif grew older, he met and fell in love with a beautiful woman named Dumebi. She was known far and wide for her stunning looks and charm, and Latif was captivated by her. They married in a grand ceremony, with the whole village celebrating their union. Latif's mother welcomed Dumebi into the family with open arms, treating her like the daughter she never had. But beneath Dumebi's sweet smiles and soft words lay a heart filled with malice and jealousy. She despised Latif's mother, seeing her as a rival for her husband's love and attention. Day by day, Dumebi began to sow seed of discord in Latif's mind. She would whisper lies into his ear, saying, "Your mother is too controlling, Latif. She wants to rule our lives. She doesn't want you to be happy." At first, Latif dismissed these thoughts, knowing how much his mother loved him. But Dumebi was persistent. She continued to paint Latif's mother in a bad light, exaggerating small misunderstandings and turning them into major conflicts. Dumebi was so convincing that Latif began to doubt his mother's intentions. One day, Dumebi decided to take things further. She attempted to poison Latif's mother, but her plan failed. The mother, blessed with the protection of her ancestors, fell ill but quickly recovered. Dumebi was furious that her plan didn't work, but she didn't give up. Instead, she devised a more cunning scheme. She pretended to be pregnant, telling Latif that his mother had caused her womb and that she would never bear children because of the cause. Latif, desperate to become a father, was devastated. He confronted his mother, accusing her of jealousy and witchcraft. The pain in his mother's eyes as he hurled accusations at her cut deep. But Latif was too blinded by Dumebi's lies to see the truth. From that day on, Latif began to distance himself from his mother. He stopped visiting her, stopped speaking with her, stopped seeking her advice, and stopped showing her the love and respect he had once showered upon her. His mother, heartbroken and confused, withdrew into herself, praying every day for her son to see the truth. Meanwhile, Dumebi enjoyed her victory. She was now the queen of the household, with Latif completely under her control. She reveled in her newfound power, believing that nothing could ever expose her deceit. But as the saying goes, the truth is like a seed. It may be buried deep, but one day it will sprout and reach the light. As the days turned into weeks, Latif's mother grew frail and sorrowful. The once vibrant woman, who had been the backbone of the family, now spent her days in solitude, mourning the loss of her son's affection. The villagers noticed the change in her, and whispers began to spread about the sudden rift between mother and son. Some suspected that Dumebi had something to do with it, but they had no proof. Latif, now fully immersed in his work and his life he had built with Dumebi, rarely thought of his mother. Dumebi, on the other hand, continued to manipulate him. She was careful to keep up the act of being the loving wife, all the while ensuring that Lateef's heart remained hardened toward his mother. One evening, a villager elder named Baba Ade came to visit Lateef's mother. Baba Ade was a wise man, known for his deep understanding of the spiritual world and his ability to see beyond the physical. He had been a close friend of Lateef's father and watched Lateef grow up. When he saw the state of Lateef's mother, he knew that something was terribly wrong. "Mother of Lateef," Baba Ade said gently, "I see great sorrows in your eyes. What has happened to cause this rift between you and your son?" With tears in her eyes, Lateef's mother recounted the event that had led to her estrangement from her son. Baba Ade listened carefully, his wise old eyes narrowing as he heard of Dumebi's actions. He could sense the dark energy that surrounded the situation and knew that something evil was at play. "Do not worry, my dear," Baba Ade said reassuringly. "The truth cannot be hidden forever. The ancestors are watching, and they will reveal what has been concealed." That night, Baba Ade returned to his home and consulted the spirits of the ancestors. He lit sacred candles, burned incense, and chanted ancient prayers, asking for guidance and wisdom. The ancestors responded, revealing to him the true nature of Dumebi's deception. Baba Ade saw vision of her attempt to poison Lateef's mother, her lies about the cause, and the evil joy she took in causing the rift between mother and son. The next morning, Baba Ade visited Lateef. He found him in his home, sitting beside Dumebi, who was pretending to sew a garment for an unborn child. Lateef greeted the elder with respect, though there was a coldness in his demeanor that Baba Ade had never seen before. "Lateef," Baba Ade began, "I have come to speak to you about your mother. She is gravely troubled, and I fear that you have been led astray." Lateef frowned, glancing at Dumebi, who looked back at him with feigned concern. "Baba Ade, I respect you, but I cannot listen to any accusations against my wife. My mother had caused us great pain, and I have made my decision." Baba Ade sighed, seeing how deep the poison of Dumebi's lies had sunk into Lateef's heart. But he was not deterred. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small calabash filled with sacred herbs. "Lateef," he said firmly, "you have always trusted me. Allow me to perform a small ritual to clear your mind and reveal the truth." Lateef hesitated, but his respect for Baba Ade and the years of trust they've shared made him agree. "Very well," he said, "but if nothing comes of this, I will not allow you speak of my mother again." Baba Ade nodded and began the ritual. He sprinkled the sacred herbs around Lateef and chanted in a low, steady voice as the air filled with a fragrant smoke. Dumebi shifted uncomfortably in her seat, sensing that something was amiss. The spirits of the ancestors were being summoned, and she knew that her web of lies was in danger of being unraveled. Suddenly, the room grew cold, and a powerful presence filled the space. Lateef felt a shiver run down his spine as a vision appeared before him. He saw his mother, frail and broken, praying for him every day. He saw Dumebi laughing wickedly as she poured poison into his mother's food, and heard her false accusations about the cause. Lateef's heart pounded as the truth unfolded before his eyes. He saw himself blinded by anger, turning away from the woman who had given him life. The weight of his actions crushed him, and he fell to his knees, tearing down his face. Baba Ade's voice cut through the vision. Lateef, the truth has been revealed. Your mother has done nothing but love you, and it is Dumebi who has caused this pain. The ancestors have spoken, and they do not lie. Dumebi, realizing that her deception had been exposed, tried to flee, but Baba Ade was quick. With a wave of his hand, he summoned the spirit to hold her in place. She struggled, but it was in vain. The truth was out, and there was no escape. Lateef, still on his knees, looked up at Dumebi, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and sorrow. "Why?" he whispered. "Why did you do this to me? To my mother?" Dumebi said nothing. Her once beautiful face now twisted in fear and guilt. The room was silent, save for the sound of Lateef's quiet sobs and the cracking of sacred herbs they had burned. Lateef's tears flowed freely as the weight of his mistakes bore down on him. He had allowed himself to be deceived, turning against the woman who had sacrificed everything for him. Now, as he looked at Dumebi, all the love and trust he once had for her evaporated like mist in the morning sun. With great effort, Lateef rose to his feet. He turned to Baba Ade and bowed his head. "Thank you, Baba, for opening my eyes. I have wronged my mother, and I must make amends." Baba Ade nodded solemnly. "The path to redemption is never easy, Lateef, but it is the only way forward." Lateef then faced Dumebi, who was trembling with fear. The spirit held her in place, but Lateef could see the regret in her eyes. Yet, he knew that her regret came too late. "Dumebi," he said, his voice steady but filled with pain, "you have brought great sorrow into this family. You manipulated me and tried to harm the one person who has always been there for us. I cannot forgive what you have done." Dumebi's lips quivered as she tried to speak, but no words came out. She knew that her fate was sealed. Lateef took a deep breath and spoke with finality. "You must leave this house and never return. I will send words to your family so they can take you back. As for me, I must return to my mother and seek her forgiveness." Baba Ade released the spirit hold on Dumebi, and she collapsed to the ground, sobbing. She knew she had lost everything: her husband, her home, and the life she had schemed to build. Lateef turned away from her and made his way to his mother's home. As he entered, he saw her sitting quietly by the fire, her face etched with sorrow. The sight of her in such a state broke his heart all over again. He knelt before her and took her frail hands in his. "Mother," he whispered, tears streaming down his face, "I have wronged you in the worst possible way. I allowed lies and deceit to cloud my judgment, and I turned away from you when you needed me the most. Please, forgive me." Lateef's mother looked at her son, and despite the pain she had endured, her love for him had never wavered. She placed her hand on his head and spoke softly. "My son, I have already forgiven you. I prayed every day that you will say the truth, and now that you have, my heart is at peace." Lateef wept in his mother's arms, feeling the warmth of her forgiveness wash over him. He vowed never to let anything come between them again. Dumebi was sent away back to her family, who were ashamed of her actions. The villagers soon learned of her wickedness, and she became an outcast, living in isolation and regret. Latif, now reunited with his mother, worked hard to restore the bond that had been damaged. He took care of her, ensuring that she never lacked anything, and their home once again became a place of love and harmony. This story teaches us that the bond between a parent and child is sacred and should not be easily broken. It warns against the dangers of deceit and manipulation and reminds us that truth will always prevail. Moreover, it emphasizes the importance of forgiveness and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Thank you for always sticking by our stories. Subscribe to this channel to get more of these stories often. Don't forget to share, comment and like as well. See you in the next video. Thank you.